You work for those light bulbs, huh? All right, well, welcome back, everyone. Can you turn to the person that's sitting next to you, give them a high five, and say, "You're awesome." Awesome. All of you are so awesome. And I feel so honored and privileged to talk to you about something that is so near and dear to me because it's changed my life, and that's personal growth and development. You know, I don't know if a lot of you really know our story and our background, but when we were introduced to Ambit Energy, we are living in California, and that was long before we even knew if California was even going to deregulate. And we actually got to senior consultant working the business out of state. And I think it was mainly because we were pure ignorance on fire. We were just so excited about sharing what was going on in the other states. But you know what we found was that when we promoted to senior consultant, we really experienced a standstill in our business. And we couldn't understand why we weren't growing. And as most of you know, in order to get from senior consultant to executive consultant, that's going to be highly dependent on your leadership skills. And so it was really intimidating to me because I had never led people before. Maybe led people to the mall, you know, that was my only experience. And so when I was like leading people for business, you know, I was really, really intimidated, and I was a little bit unsure if I could do that. And luckily for me, somebody turned me on to personal growth and development. And what is that? That's reading books, and that's going to different conferences just like this, and just focusing on your growth. And I think John Maxwell puts it so perfectly. I was reading a book. It's one of his newer ones. It's the 15 Invaluable Laws of Personal Growth. And I actually wrote it down because I didn't want to mess it up on what he said. So he says, if you focus on your goals, you may hit your goals, but that doesn't guarantee growth. But if you focus on growth, you will grow, and you will always hit your goals. And it was funny because all of that time that we were focusing on our personal growth, we started hitting our goals. And I didn't get to read this book until now, and it just like solidified what we are going through. And so the handout that was on your chair, that's some of the books that really, really profoundly changed my thinking. Because in this business, I think our system is so simple. You know, you can't really overcomplicate that, although some people do overcomplicate it. But, you know, how much do we have to train on that? You know, so really, to get to the next levels, it's really winning in the mind game and preparing yourself and strengthening yourself in your mind. And so just the personal growth and development really, really helped us excel in our business and really start to get to the next level. But I want to share with you kind of what we do, because what John Maxwell kind of calls it is a personal growth plan. And I think that if you're not on a personal growth plan yourself, you're probably growing on accident. You know, you want to purposely grow in your walk with Ambit Energy. And so just to give you an example, and you could, you know, plan your own personal growth plan. For us, our bookends for our day is reading. And so we wake up early, and, well, early in network marketing terms, which is 9 o'clock. But the first thing we do when we wake up is we read, you know. And then at the end of our day, the last thing we do is we read. And before Ambit Energy, it used to be TV. You know, it used to be news in the morning, and then news before bed, and then I was always wondering why I was always in a bad mood. So if you kind of change that, because I know some of you are like, well, what's that saying that's going around nowadays? Ain't no one got time for that. You know, you're probably thinking that, right? Because it's like, wow, I have a full-time career, I have a family, where am I going to have time to read? But I promise you, if you just set yourself on even reading one page in the morning, which that one page, usually you get into it, and it turns into a couple pages, okay? And then at night, before you go to bed, set yourself on reading one page, and that one page also turns into a couple pages, which eventually leads into one chapter, and then suddenly you're finishing a book a month. You know, and so that's very voracious reading, and maybe you don't have time for that, but maybe you could read a paragraph. And I think it's just so important. I think a lot of people miss the mental game and the importance of it in this business. And also, it's important for you to get your team on their own personal growth plan. And as your team leader, it's important for you to establish that for them. Because naturally, people don't just say, oh, I think I'm going to read a personal development book. Like, to be honest, after college, which it took 7 years, and it was just that excruciating, like that reading, those books that they make you read, So after college, I was just not interested in buying books, And so that wasn't in my mind. And to be honest, if you look at statistics out there, most people after college or after high school really never pick up another book. So with your team members, if they're not engaged in personal growth and development, call them, in your first planning session with them and say, we're going to put you on a personal growth and development plan. So you could share with them what works for you and then get them on a system where when you're talking to them, you're not just only talking about your goals, but you're asking them, what are you reading? What are you reading right now? What did you read that in that couple pages that you read, what really stood out to you? And really start having conversations with people on your team on a normal basis. And I really think if everybody, pushes personal growth and development in general, not only their businesses will strive, but their entire lives will strive. And that's the great thing about it. And so I just want to share with you another quote that I love from Jim Rohn. I know a lot of you are Jim Rohn fans. Yeah. And I love listening to him. And so I'm just going to kind of read it because I don't want to mess it up. But don't wish that it was easier, wish that you were better. Yeah. Okay. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skill. And then also, don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. Because as you know, he says the same wind blows on us all, and the difference between someone that's not successful and someone that's successful is the set of your sail, right? And I mean, I'm so on fire for Ambit Energy. I absolutely love it. I love Ambit more than I love shopping now, honest. And the reason is not only that Ambit gives you time freedom, and that's a huge gift, but I believe the biggest gift that Ambit Energy will give to anybody is just the person that you become when you reach executive consultant or when you reach your financial freedom number. And I just hope that all of you in your journey through Ambit, that you take the growth process and you're patient with it, because that growth process, although it's uncomfortable, is going to be the best time and the most memorable time of your life, because you'll be able to inspire other people in that process, because I think a lot of us are going through some sort of process right now, right? So anyways, I love you ladies, and I'm excited for line dancing tonight, and I better see every single one of you on the dance floor. So.